Hello everybody, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. As always, I am your host, Chris Arnone, The Bearded Gamer. Straight into good news, bad news. So first off is a piece of good news. Now on the PlayStation blog, there was a happy holiday message from David Jaffe from Eat, Sleep, Play, creator of course, Twisted Metal. And he was talking a little bit about the upcoming Twisted Metal. It's due out on Valentine's Day of next year. And that is that with the first printings, the first run, as you can see on this capture of the box art, there will be a free downloadable code for the original Twisted Metal Black for PS3. So that's just really cool. I mean, Black was sort of the one that really put character into the game, and that darkness and that sort of twisted sweet tooth thing that's going on with the whole story. And that's part of why he's doing it, is because it really harkens back to what they're trying to do with the new Twisted Metal, with that dark and twisty, not just car combat, but that the atmosphere that Black created that's carried through Twisted Metal onward. All right. Now this one is going to be filed in the oh snap news. Now Viacom and the rock band Harmonix have been going back and forth legally for a little bit now since the change of hands, and Harmonix is sort of semi-independent now, and there's been some lawsuits. Well, in the most recent one, Viacom has been ordered to pay Harmonix $383 million. That's just a tremendous amount of change. Now, they haven't paid it yet. Viacom is actually filing suit to try and counter this claim and not have to pay them all this money. But yeah, there was all this issue about who owed whom money and what Harmonix was actually worth when it was sold. And yeah, it's getting crazy. But I mean, $383 million. So as much as we like to say that the music genre is dead, obviously it's still worth a fair chunk of change at this point. All right. On to some more good news, well, at least good for EA and BioWare. Now, of course, Star Wars The Old Republic's been out for about a week and a half now. And are you wondering, how successful has it really been? I mean, we've got some, sold numbers, some ship numbers. Yeah, but check this out. This is some data on Star Wars The Old Republic. 60 million in-game hours have been logged so far. 580,000 Sith warriors and 850,000 Sith warriors and 810,000 Jedi Knights have been created. 260 million quests have been completed. 44 million PvP battles have occurred. 9 million space combat missions have been done. And 3 billion NPCs have been killed. Now that's, did some checking. That would be like the combined populations of China, India, the US, and Indonesia all being wiped out in about a week and a half. So, obviously there's a lot of people playing, a lot of people logging in hours, and a lot of people killing stuff, which is kind of crazy. A lot of fun, though, it looks like. All right, finish off with some honestly sad news. Joystiq's a site that I'm a fan of. I know a few of the guys who work over there, and several Joystiq editors have just announced that they are moving on to hopefully bigger and better things. That is, Editor-in-Chief Chris Grant is leaving, as well as Managing Editor Joystiq McElroy and his brother, the Reviews Editor Griffin McElroy. They're all leaving Joystiq. Ludwig Keitzman will be taking over the Editor-in-Chief job as soon as he moves over the U.S. from South Africa. So those are three great talents moving on from the gaming industry, and they will be missed. Best luck to all three of you in your future endeavors. All right, guys, Controller Confessional. So something that everyone talks about this time of year, which are what were the biggest gaming disappointments of 2011. Of course, I have my own list, my own experiences of the last year. And let's start with number 10. Now, this one's been on everybody's list, Duke Nukem Forever. Now, why is it way down at number 10 on my list? Well, honestly, this is weird. I'm going to defend Duke Nukem Forever a little bit. When Randy Pitchford and Gearbox bought it, they didn't start from scratch. They didn't start over Duke Nukem Forever. They just took what had been in development for 13 years and finished it. So, it's had we seen that game 13 years ago, it would have been brilliant. Or had Duke Nukem Forever come out at less than $60, it would have been a better game. But that's kind of where the disappointment comes in, is they gave us that game with all of its problems, all of its glitches, all of its story holes, and said this is a $60 AAA title. And it really wasn't, obviously. Now, for me, I picked it up as part of the 2K pack on Steam, so, you know, $80 for about 40 games. I paid about $2 for it. It's awesome, and it is a lot of fun. Despite all of its issues and problems, I think it's a goofy good time, but still not what people were hoping for, especially at its price point. Number 9, Homefront. Now, when THQ comes out and they put millions and millions of dollars into the marketing behind this game, they're showing it off as this next huge FPS title. And then we get it, and it does nothing really new or innovative for online first-person shooters. And the story was cool, and it looked good, and then it was done in 4 hours. I mean, seriously. I reviewed it. I started at 10 a.m., went, had lunch, ran to the post office, came home. I was still done with the game by 3 o'clock. What? I mean, that's maybe half of a decent game at 4 hours. And when you've touted the single-player story that much, the setting, the whole Korea takes over the world thing, you need to put some time and effort into that single player. And it just really disappointed me. When you build up that much hype, and it's sort of the Duke Nukem Forever problem too, you can never live up to the hype when you drive the hype machine that much. All right, number 8, the Nintendo Wii. I know, Nintendo fanboys, whoa now. Other than The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, name for me one truly significant and fantastic game that came out for that console all year. I think the problem is we're in the swan song. The Wii U is right around the corner. Most of the development is now being done for the launch window for the Wii U, and the Wii is being kind of forgotten about right now, and it's definitely becoming the falling into the backdrop and becoming less and less important and prevalent as time goes on. Yes, Skyward Sword was a brilliant game and will probably stand as the crowning achievement for the Wii, but it was like the only really great game the console had all year. And, you know, of course, some people argue and name a few other things, but really, one game in 12 months, that's just sad. Number 7, The Last Guardian. Where the hell is it? Seriously, I think I remember back in 2009 seeing the first trailer for it, and we're going, all right, we're going to get it next year, and then next year came, and it got delayed, and then E3 came, and hey, it'll be here next year, and next year was this year, and where the hell is it? Now, you know, executive producer left, the creative director left, even though they say he'll still be an independent contractor for Sony working on The Last Guardian. But really, I got to start worrying, are we ever going to see The Last Guardian? Is it going to land itself in development hell? Because it's just been delay after delay after delay, and we still haven't seen any real updates or anything. You know, we got the Eco Collection to tie us over, so to speak, but no. We want The Last Guardian, we still haven't seen it. All right, number 6, Kinect games. Now, the Kinect is phenomenal. What it does outside of gaming with the PC SDK, what it's done in healthcare, all these crazy, like, you know, college research projects using Kinect, and what it's done, it's phenomenal. It is changing computing with this intuitive UI. But in gaming, it's still, I mean, yeah, there's some cool things coming that are adding value to other games, like Voice Command in Mass Effect 3, or Gunsmith in Ghost Recon Future Soldier coming down the line. But as far as actual dedicated Kinect games, it's all party games, dance games, and kids games. And that's it. And that Rise of Nightmares was absolute crap. The first attempt at a real core Kinect game, it was terrible. I got to see it in action, and it looked at least a generation old, and it played like, oh, it was so bad. So it's in gaming, the Kinect is still very much a disappointment. Now, hopefully 2012 will be a better year. Honestly, Star Wars Kinect looking kind of cool. Fable the Journey really might be finally the core game we're all looking for, even though Fable has always sort of been more accessible to the masses. And yes, the added value that it's going to present with other games. You know, the only game so far really has been Child of Eden, which you could use a controller on, but it's so much better and so much more challenging if you use Kinect. But, I mean, outside of that, really, we're still waiting for Kinect to really come into its own as a gaming device. All right, number 5, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, you can't really build an entire game out of a denouement, or even 2 denouements. And that's really what Revelations tried to do. By the time you get into this, you're dealing with Ezio and Altair, and you've seen the most exciting stuff from both of their lives already. This is really the twilight years of both characters. And you built a whole game around it, and you threw in tower defense, which is just so disjointed and annoying. The way it was represented in Assassin's Creed Revelations, it was really a disappointment. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 made the first Assassin's Creed just completely obsolete. And then Brotherhood just added all this extra open world stuff on top of Assassin's Creed 2. And, we're like, wow, how can you top it? Well, apparently you can't. At least while you're still trying to do Ezio. Now, hopefully, Ubisoft has learned from this. They'll take their time. I'm sure they're still going to try to stick to their one-year development cycle. God knows why. They need to do that. They're trying to make it into the next Call of Duty. But hopefully the next Assassin's Creed, where it takes us to not Ezio or Altair, someplace new, some person new, they will learn from the mistakes they made with Revelations. But it was just, in a franchise that's been so stellar, that's why it's such a disappointment, because the bar was so high, and it really did fall rather short. All right, number 4, the PlayStation Move. They still make those things, right? Is there, what? Is there, I'm trying to think of a single game that has been more fun to play with Move than without it. Yeah. Well, that pretty much sums that one up, doesn't it? Number 3, the Nintendo 3DS's launch. Now, we've talked about this a lot on the show. Obviously, by now at this point, 3DS is starting to hit its stride. It's doing much, much better, which is why I decided to say the 3DS's launch, not the 3DS as a whole. It's actually, by the end of the year, done fairly well. But, it started off, Nintendo purposely backed off their launch window to try and give the third-party developers more of a chance. Well, bad move. We didn't realize it at the time. They didn't realize it at the time. It sounded like a good idea, except the problem is when you don't sell a lot of your console, the third-party developers don't see it as worth their time to make new games. So there was just this huge lull because it didn't sell well. But now finally, since we've had Super Mario 3D Land and Mario Kart 7, Ocarina of Time 3D, it has really started to get moving and get going. There are games now that are definitely system sellers, and it's doing a lot better. And the price drop, of course, was a huge, huge thing for them too. Helped a lot. But that launch, I think everyone in the games industry, everyone who makes consoles looks at that window and says, that's how you do it wrong. You've got to pack in system sellers right at the get-go, and you got to do a good price right from the get-go, or it's just not going to work. All right, number 2, Dragon Age 2. Now, this game sort of redefined cutting corners, and this is from BioWare. That's part of why it's such a crazy disappointment. This is a studio that is known for super high-quality games, and I swear, if I had played through that single cave over and over again one more flipping time, yeah, most of you know what I'm talking about who have played this game. There's all of the interior sections, whether it be, the caves or the buildings, it's the same ones over and over and over, and they pulled back so much because the first Dragon Age was kind of tough to play on a console. It was made for PC. It was still PC minded and then ported over. And so when you got to console, it was kind of hard to play because it was very much more strategic, and strategy doesn't play well on consoles. But they went too far from it. They made it too over the top, just action. And I'll give you this: the actual combat is really cool. Graphics and music, all that stuff was cool, except of course the, oh my god, reused assets over and over and over again, as I just said. Plus the whole thing felt like it was just completely a side story to what the main story of Dragon Age is supposed to be. It's hard to figure out how is that going to tie in with this main story that's been happening. And it was just such a departure. Now, they have already said that they have listened to us and they're going to try to make DA3 sort of the best of DA1 and the best of DA2, and that's what the new game's going to be. And that sounds great to me, but as it stands right now, Dragon Age 2, I did enjoy the game, but, there's a big but, wow, that was just not what I was expecting. All right, finally, the number 1 most disappointing thing of 2011 as far as gaming, of course, you can guess it, PSN Gate. Now, this is the nickname for the PlayStation Network outage that lasted more than a month because of hackers. A lot of personal information was compromised. Now, not a lot of reports ended up coming out of that of people actually getting their identity stolen or anything truly bad happening, other than the fact, of course, that people were completely out of PlayStation Network for more than a month. And this is just a huge debacle, and the FBI involved, and all these authorities, and it was a real bad deal, especially for Sony. I wonder truly how many people traded in their PS3s and bought 360s instead during that outage, especially the dude bro gamers, the people that all they really do is they play Madden and Call of Duty, and if suddenly they can't get online and play, well, that's why they bought your console. They didn't want to play for Xbox Live Gold, but you're taking away more than a month, more than 1/12 of their gaming for the entire year. And yeah, there was a lot of people that took their PS3s and all their games to GameStop, traded it in, and got a 360 and the same games instead. So, it was real crappy on Sony's part. Of course, the hackers are truly to blame, but you have to build a sturdy enough house that people can't break in. If you don't lock your door, it's partly your fault if somebody breaks in and steals all your crap. And that's kind of where we are with Sony is, how much of this was truly their fault. But boy, it was a bad deal. So, all right, those were the 10 most disappointing moments in gaming 2011. Hopefully, 2012 will be a better year. Let's go on to Nerd TV to finish up. Now, YouTube user Airport Road has made a hilarious video called Mortal Kombat Lemonade 3 out of 4 ain't bad. And now I'm just going to play a portion of it for you. It's a 5-minute video, plus I want you to go and visit them, Airport Road, and watch the whole video and give them the views and the love and the likes and show them how awesome they are for making this video. But it's a few guys who decided to dress up around Christmas. I'm not sure why. We didn't get motivation. We don't need it. But they all magically dressed up as Mortal Kombat ninjas. Well, at least until their fourth friend shows up and makes the whole thing just a wee bit more awkward than it should be. But hey, 3 grown men dressing up as Mortal Kombat characters around Christmas, it's not weird or juvenile or, I think my roommates and I have done weirder stuff than yeah. It's just called being nerdy, folks. Come on. Roll that footage. I'll see you guys next time.
What the heck?
He made a reptile suit!
I did.
You made a Sub-Zero suit?
I did! You made a scorpion suit.
I did.
You guys were spying on me.
No, we did
I
this.
not.
I did not. I did this because I'm awesome. Well, I did this because I'm awesomer.
I did this because I'm the awesomest, and I'm a hidden character.
Look what this guy can do, though. Look at him. Come here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is
well, watch what I can do.
What? Oh, get pulled in. Oh, I don't get shot. But this is what I can do. Double freeze.